Will we see a return to cartridge-based gaming with the new retro VGS being released soon?
We can go off in different directions, but I think the easy answer is no, for a few different reasons. Cartridges died out for a very specific reason.
Cost
And space. Okay. So the cost of doing a cartridge is probably 10 to 15 times that of a disc. I think if you do Blu-rays, someone's going to correct me, but in the bulk that, say, Microsoft or Nintendo, or Nintendo does their own proprietary disc because we can't do a regular Blu-ray, whatever the hell they do. A Blu-ray disc, which holds like over 30 gigs of information, and now they're developing one that's even like 100 gigs, I think.
I think it's currently 37, but yeah.
But they're doing a super one that's going to be like 100,
right?
Which will take care of your needs for the next like 20 years. For even how big your games get. It's like 25 cents for a Blu-ray disc to stamp them out in bulk. 30 cents, something like that. A cartridge is molding, it's plastic, it's the materials. Besides inside the, doing the actual chips, it's not cheap.
No.
It's not cheap, and it ain't quick to do that. Say something goes wrong with processing an individual chip. Oh, that whole batch is ruined. We got to do a whole new run of cartridges now. You got to take them all apart and refashion the molds? No, it's just not cost effective to do cartridges.
No.
It isn't.
There's it makes sense when you look at like a portable system. It's not really a cartridge, but like a memory chip or like something like a 3DS cartridge or a Vita cartridge or something, because optical drives on portable systems don't make any sense. But there's this weird. I mean, I like cartridges. Don't get me wrong, I like them.
Everyone loves them.
But there's this weird retro fetishism to them, and it's you can't even have the debate. I mean, other than maybe load time. Like vinyl and CD does. I mean, there's really no benefit to a cartridge, and I don't know why we constantly want to see the return of cartridge-based gaming.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. It has to be, because there's no logical reason. In terms of load times, a lot of times now you could on new systems they all have hard drives, and it asks you if you want to load a lot of the game storage onto there to reduce the load times. Is that right?
It's true. And also, I mean, there are load times on cartridge-based games for the 3DS or on the Vita. So
it's not automatic.
Yeah, the myth that cartridges completely eliminate load times is absolutely false. Going back to the 64, that was false.
Even with flash memory on like the flash carts, it's not instantaneous to load the game up. It'll take a few seconds. Compact flash is quicker than say regular SD, but it takes seconds to load this stuff still, and that's for small games that are like a megabyte or smaller. Mm-hmm. They're still accessing it. So people are saying, well, why don't you then just put like an SD card? Because SD cards, I think I saw somewhere like an SD card, a 32 gig SD card is under a few bucks. So then that cost is down. But then you still got to put it in a cartridge though. Like if you're gonna fake it and get an SD card and put it in a cartridge, that mold and the plastic still and the machinery. You don't understand the machine together of a cartridge. Then someone's got to screw them together and put them together versus stamping out Blu-rays every second. Right. That's a huge difference in cost and in time. Besides the casing that goes in, like a nice cheap Blu-ray case in bulk is nothing. Those plastic cases don't cost anything. For a game, you have to fashion something else entirely, which is going to be more money. What are you going to do? You're going to make a clamshell case? It's a lot more plastic. And they're not made in the bulk that the DVD cases are. That's more money. Everything is more money. It's not just it's outdated just for the sake of being outdated. It just doesn't make any sense.
I think it's. I'm not trying to take a jab at anyone. I think it's funny because I bet you there are people out there who would want their cartridges to come in cardboard boxes so that it could be collectible 20 years from now because cardboard degrades. I think it's a weird collector mentality thing that wants these cartridges back. And like I said, I will always love my my Game Boy cartridges, my Neo Geo Pocket Color cartridges, stuff like that. I just don't necessarily need to return to that.
Yeah, and plus it's also then, in terms of the cost, it's not just for the consumer's sake, it's for the publisher and developer. Why would a publisher, say they put a game out on, say Sony, because then now we're cutting out the middleman. Say Sony puts out Metal Gear Solid 5 for $60, okay? So they're going to charge $60. The cost of materials for them, obviously R&D and software, but just the cost of materials for the disc and the case is probably about $1 to $1.50, and that's probably high.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say $1, and that's overshooting it. Probably.
If they try to put that in a cartridge, we're talking
$4, $5
to do a molded cartridge.
I'm just saying at least.
That's low end. You're talking
if
low.
If you do them in high bulk.
If you do it in high bulk, at the very least, you're going to have to. The cheapest way you're going to do it is to do an SD card.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And throw it in a cartridge.
I'm still on the SD card.
SD card.
Yes.
SD card, a couple bucks. Then the plastic casing. This isn't cheap. Still,
right.
$5-10, we'll just say at least. So then the profit margin so eliminated at that point versus something $1 versus 10 or 11. But then say you're smaller though. Say you're a smaller, more independent company, then you can't make any money. Then you want to stick with digital or disc no matter what. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's just,
right.
It's just business. It's not personal. Nothing personal against this cartridge. It's just business to go with what makes the most sense, and what has the least likely of errors to come out during manufacturing. On top of that, you got to throw out some Blu-rays. Fine, throw them out. They're worthless if you have to redo them. You got to redo cartridges? Holy fuck. Yeah. We're in trouble.
Yeah, that's where you're going to have the problem is when there's a manufacturing error. And I was just trying to find, I know you can buy blank NES shells and nothing's loading up on my computer. I was trying to see what those go for to get a rough idea. But
that's just the shells.
Yeah.
That's not the other parts that go inside it, or the cost of labor to put that together, or the machining
or
parts
the labeling and stuff like that. No, I realize, but I was just trying to get a base idea.
There could be, even if they're $5 each. Let's say they're $5 or $6 each.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
So even if you get them for $3 or $2.50 plus labor,
plus building the plant to put those fuckers together.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a big
initial
investment.
You have to remanufacture, a whole processing assembly line to put together the games again. Besides nowadays where you send your games off to some plant, you give them the master, they give it back to you, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it.